On the official Japanese Star Wars website, we got some descriptions for some of the characters in The Last Jedi, and maybe some juicy hints on what the movie has in store for them.
You're fulfilling your destiny.
Now, since the page is in Japanese, I tried to translate it, but my Japanese is poor at best. Luckily, someone pointed me to StarWarsNewsNet.com, that is a mouthful, and they actually translated it because I guess someone on their team does speak Japanese. So thank you to that person, and thank you to that news site. It's actually amazing. You should go there if you can. I was going through it, and I'm just astonished by their wealth of information. But anyways, I want to go over the descriptions of those characters for The Last Jedi and what it could mean for the movie. First, Rey. Rey, now aware of the awakening power of the Force, travels to the hidden world of Ahch-To. She is looking for Luke Skywalker, who is the last Jedi Master in the galaxy and the last hope for the Resistance. Rey was hoping to find a legendary hero. She instead found a man who disagrees with her expectations. From this description, we can guess that she finds Luke isn't the super enthusiastic hero she thought he'd be. But I think we could all guess that Luke was going to resist training her as he lost his Jedi Order and he saw Ben Solo, his nephew, turn against him. I also think that Rey's gonna try to build him up as a hero, and Luke's just gonna completely shut that down. Okay, onwards to Finn. Finn, a former operative of the First Order, previously dedicated himself to the cause of fighting for the Resistance, continues the fight. Now he's at a crossroads over his role in the war. So Finn is gonna want to run again is what I'm getting from this description, and I think that would very much so be in his character. He's tried to run before, and that's also very true to humans. We don't just make a decision, most of us, and are 100% about it. Sometimes we flip-flop, we hesitate, we go back on our word. I feel like that could be Finn. Maybe he wakes up after healing and he decides, you know, I don't want to do this. But then he ends up going on the mission for the Resistance, like we've seen in the sneak peeks. And then maybe during that mission or after, he's like, you know, no, I'm really done. I don't want to be a part of this. I really think we're going to see Finn in this movie still trying to decide, do I want to be a part of this war, or do I just want to peace out? Next, Poe. Now that the conflict between the First Order and the Resistance has escalated into total war, Poe is shining as a leader of a courageous flying battalion. But while he is brave and a skilled pilot, both the First Order and the Resistance alike are starting to fear his dedication to the war effort. This one is the most intriguing to me. Poe is highly skilled and a good guy that just wants to beat the bad guys. This kind of dark twist could mean so much for his character. He goes from being this generic good guy to someone on the edge. I'm imagining a Saul-type character, but not quite so crazy and doesn't go quite as far. There is no doubt that if the First Order has begun to fear Poe, he's going to do some messed up dark things in this film, or maybe even the next film. And we've been told this film has a lot of darkness to it, especially after reading the Poe Dameron comics. He's too skilled, he's too good, he's just so much about doing the right thing. I want to see this darker twist for him. I want to see a little bit of darkness. No one is that much of a white knight. Maz Kanata's description for The Last Jedi is definitely interesting. After Maz lost her castle, she has been forced to take a more active role and take advantage of her ties to the criminal underworld. She will provide crucial assistance to the Resistance in their fight against the First Order, making use of every connection she has. Maz is in the game this episode, and we're going to see a lot more of her, which is exciting because if you've read the material they released after The Force Awakens, we see just how bad of a position the Resistance is in. It is so bad, there's no way they'd win a head-on-head war with the First Order. But if they can get what's left of the New Republic's forces, which now know the First Order is a huge problem, and Maz can supply her criminal network to help, they have a fighting chance. There's still going to be a ton of casualties though. I like Maz, and I'm completely on board for her helping the Resistance. Only to lose more than her castle this time. Not much on BB-8 or R2-D2, so I'll just skip over them. Honestly, Chewbacca is a bit boring too. We know he went with Rey, and really if you want more information on him, you should get the updated everything you need to know. Now Kylo's gets spicy again. Kylo Ren, humiliated by his defeat at Rey's hands, redoubles his efforts to crush the Resistance. However, although his powers in the dark side continue to increase, it is still not enough to impress his shadowy mentor, First Order Supreme Leader Snoke. We already know from the canon The Force Awakens novel that Kylo Ren didn't become more powerful like he thought he would after killing his father. In fact, he became weaker. So he's gonna probably try to get more power in a different way. But then we see his tearful expression as he hesitates to fire on what we're assuming is his mother. Despite Kylo being pissed about his defeat at the hands of Rey and the Resistance, and him wanting payback, he's still going to struggle. I think he's not 100% on board with Snoke's plans, especially after killing his father didn't get him the power that he thought it would. I also think Snoke knows this, and also Kylo losing against Rey has caused him to look not so good in Snoke's eyes. I also think this ties into us seeing Snoke and Rey in the trailer. Snoke is going to go for Rey, and she's probably going to be captured at the end of The Last Jedi, and I can see Kylo switching to the Resistance side. Next, Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. After his attempt to rebuild the Jedi Order was ruined, Luke Skywalker disappeared from the galaxy in search of answers, leading him to the planet Ahch-To. Though he seems intent to live out a modest lifestyle away from the war, the Resistance needs the hero who defeated Darth Vader to stand a chance against the First Order. This isn't anything new. We know that the Resistance wants Luke's help. In the Poe Dameron comic series, Leia sends Poe to find Tekka in order to get Luke. They believe having Luke on their side could change the tide of war, and having a Jedi on their side could mean everything. Speaking of Leia, General Leia Organa, whose son betrayed her and fell to the dark side, is leading the struggling Resistance fleet. General Leia takes advantage of her decades of experience in order to halt the First Order's advances. All this makes me think of is the intelligent and strategic Leia using her few troops the best she can. In the comics, Leia is very upfront that the Resistance is much worse off than the Rebellion, and one wrong move could result in its complete destruction. Leia is going to show how cold, calculating, and strategic she is in this film to keep the Resistance alive and push the First Order into the fire. Ooh, and on that, Supreme Leader Snoke. Snoke, the shadowy leader of the First Order, finally emerges from the shadows to lead the First Order to victory after the destruction of Starkiller Base. We kinda knew from the trailer, him with Rey, Snoke is ready to come out of the shadows and attack, so this description isn't too shocking. I am way too excited for Snoke to be out in the open in flesh and blood, instead of a hologram to just fuck people up. Please let us see him fight someone, or use his powers to just own people. Still on the First Order, Captain Phasma. Captain Phasma, known for her characteristic metallic armor, escaped from Starkiller Base shortly before it was destroyed. Taking command of the Stormtrooper Corps, Phasma is determined to destroy the Resistance and settle a private grudge. I know they redeemed her in her comic series and also in her book, but I feel like for the casual Star Wars fans that just watch the movies, they need to redeem her in The Last Jedi as well if they want us to believe what they've been cramming down our throat. She's a badass. I wouldn't be surprised if she's not only pissed that Finn turned, a stormtrooper she had hopes for, but that he caused her to go to such extremes to cover up that she dropped the shields, allowing the base to be blown up. This is going to lead to this moment in the trailers. Probably when she sees Finn pretending to be a First Order officer, or maybe on his escape, and they throw down. I'm betting Phasma just owns Finn until something gets him out of the situation. Or maybe Phasma beats the shit out of him and the First Order actually takes him and reprograms him. That would be pretty dark. And we know in The Force Awakens that Phasma was already going to reprogram him after she discovered that he didn't fire his gun on Jakku. Alright, ending with Hux. Although Starkiller Base has been destroyed, the New Republic's leadership was eradicated by the superweapons only firing at Hux's command. From the bridge of the Finalizer, Hux issues commands to pursue the Resistance. I'm down for more Hux in The Last Jedi. We know in The Force Awakens that they found the Resistance base, and I'm sure Hux is just absolutely pissed at this point and intent on wiping out the Resistance. He took out the Republic leadership, which would have been a major obstacle, and the Resistance is the last thorn in the First Order side. So if these translations are correct, which has you most excited and intrigued? Thanks so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars videos.